Desserts, cereals, drinks, heck, even cough drops. You can't escape pumpkin spice this time of year, but it's a fruit, right? Registered dietitian Trish Brimhall is here to tell us everything we need to know about this popular fall flavor and help us make better, shall we say better, pumpkin choices. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It has really saturated the marketplace. It really has.
In fact, you're about to make a bold prediction.
I'm predicting that we're on the downside. I think that it's kind of jumped the shark, and I think that it's sort of overextended its popularity in some ways.
I mean, it's all over the store shelves, so we're going to watch that prediction.
Yes.
I don't think you're too far off. Are there health benefits, Trish, to pumpkin?
There are. When you think about the pumpkin and the spice itself, pumpkin, vitamin A, beta-carotene, fiber, all sorts of great things in there. It's a wonderful thing, you know? It's full of great nutrients, not a lot of calories in itself. And the spices can help reduce inflammation, help with digestion, control blood sugar, all that kind of stuff with the cinnamon and the nutmeg and all that. But the problem is that the package that pumpkin spice comes in can be very far removed from the pumpkin and the spice itself.
Got it. So what we're seeing, that marketing that pulls us in, isn't actually what we're eating. So help us do pumpkin better. Help us do it right. You say the first thing is to be a good label reader.
Read your labels and take a look to say, okay, if I see that cute little orange festive label, what am I looking for? Look to make sure that you're getting some good fiber in it. Read the ingredients. See if there actually is pumpkin in it, what the spices are, how much sugar is in there, okay? We want to be keeping that sugar, that fat at bay, and that's really what a lot of this is selling us, is sugar in a seasonal flavor package.
So this is a box I bought into, my family bought into. Let's look at the label and tell me from your dietitian perspective what you see that should jump out at us.
Okay, so one of the first things I look at on cereal is fiber and sugar. Okay, right here we've got 2 grams of fiber and 8 grams of sugar.
Okay. Good balance.
So you want your fiber to be as high as possible. Cheerios is going to be 2 or 3, generally speaking. And your sugars, it's best to keep it below 9. 5 would be ideal, but that's not always realistic in this world.
So we're getting some extra sugars with that flavor that
we're
buying.
A little bit, but it's not too excessive. If it's in single digits, you're in a happy place.
I know you're encouraging your clients this time of year to be really picky, not just with pumpkin spice, but picky in general about what we're putting in our bodies.
There's so much mediocre out there, and we buy into it. We buy it, and we think, oh, it's sweet, I bought it, I'm just gonna mindlessly eat it. Don't do that. If you don't love it, don't eat it, whether it's pumpkin spice or not.
It's so easy to be mindless about our eating habits, and especially at parties or social gatherings, you're just putting food in your mouth without even thinking about it.
And pretty soon it's disappeared.
You want us to assess our cravings too before we reach for a treat or a splurge.
Oftentimes you may be craving one specific thing. If you're hungry or you're like, oh, I really need what? Do you stop and say, what is it that I crave? Do I want salty? Do I want sweet? Crunchy? Creamy.
Oh, see,
what do I want?
Just thinking about it or analyzing your craving would give you pause.
And a lot of that says, I don't want any. I actually want something different to do, or I want to break from work, or I might be thirsty. But if you stop and say, this is my specific craving, then you don't have to eat through all the crunchy and the salty before you get to the sweet that you really only wanted was one sweet thing.
We're not just buying pumpkin spice, we're baking with pumpkin spice.
Yes.
How can we change our baking habits for the better?
One of the best ways to do it is do it yourself and make it easy. So for example, just swapping out a great bran muffin, say like a banana nut bran muffin, swap out the banana for pumpkin, swap out the walnuts with pumpkin seeds, and swap out cinnamon for pumpkin spice. That gives you a nice fix for it, but it keeps it just as healthy as that original banana nut.
So we're not reaching for a sugar-saturated pumpkin muffin recipe that's separate.
Exactly.
Just taking the healthy one we have and working it in.
Yes.
Good advice. If we want more tips from you, Trish, where can we find those?
NutriciousIntent.com.
Look for the link on our website, too. Thank you so much.
You bet.